Hey everybody, welcome to Tyler pitching sitting in the living room. I was just going to take a second to basically solve Marvel's biggest problem, because obviously they cannot figure out how to write or make a Blade movie. And I mean, I sit here and Brian and I introduced Solomon to Blade just through some trailers and conversation, and it's simply, but here we go. Blade opens up on Whistler. Okay, we see the vampire break into Whistler's home, and we see Whistler's reaction. We see Whistler destroy, the vampire saving his family, but there's two of them. One gets away. We see as Whistler then pursues to destroy all vampires. Okay? And then we kind of do this montage type thing of Whistler killing vampires until he finds Blade. And then we cut to modern day. And it is about the idea that the vampires have been pushed back, and so much of them have been reduced to nothing that they've almost been on existence, but there are a few that are ready for a huge ploy to take back the world because of all the superheroes that have come up. And you connect it to they've corrupted one of the hunters that we saw referenced in the Werewolf by Night, who's actually aiding the vampire nation. And they're making a synthetic food additive that is going to turn humans to vampires. And they're marketing it simple through strategic planning, because they're going to overnight basically increase their numbers and create a populace to reduce the amount of people and influx with vampires. And Blade and Whistler come across this and have to try to stop it and keep the numbers of vampires down so that they don't store their ranks. It's not that hard. I mean, Blade is a vampire hunter. I think going back to more of the mold of the early Marvel films is the right approach, making Blade a smaller film, much in the vein of The Wolverine, where it's a personal, low stakes, as far as, yes, it's the world kind of thing, but at the same time, he is not in space, he is on the street, and he's not teamed up with like 30,000 other people. It's just Blade. And, Blade definitely has to be hated by humans and seen as just a vampire. We meet other people who hunt vampires, and that they don't even like Blade. They see him as an abomination, and he really operates in this area of loneliness. Well, of course, we do pull back the Whistler story and see that Whistler eventually finds the other vampire that killed his family. And, you could or could do this, that actually one of Whistler's children were kept and turned into a vampire, and Whistler didn't know. Because during the opening scene, we'll have a whole thing with the vampires destroying, killing, and burning his house as he's fighting with them. Whole huge action scene. So it would end with the idea that Blade's out there. He's and then your post-credit scene would tie back to your post-credit scene from what do you call it? That movie. What do you call it? Eternals. geez, I couldn't even think about it. And really open up like this darker monster side that we were teased in Werewolf by Night. You could even end it with Blade in your post-credit scene meeting up with Jack Russell, and the idea that him and Blade have teamed up and have fought supernatural beings together. Anyways, Blade is like very simple, and Marvel can't seem to crack it. And I would make and direct Blade. I'll write it, direct it, for scale. Just give me a call, Marvel. I'll do it on the cheap. It's crazy that they can make these complicated things, but the simplest, they can't. And this is just off my head, sitting here, just because I was like, how can Marvel not do Blade? But anyways, keep on rocking.